Special Counsel Jack Smith has a team of other prosecutors who are helping him to pursue Donald Trump. One of those people is called Karen Gilbert. And Matt Gaetz, you know him as a United States House of Representatives congressman, sent a letter over to Merrick Garland asking for details about Jack Smith and his team. Why? Because Karen Gilbert, who I still can't find a photo for, has some interesting things in her background. She's on the special counsel's team, and we know that she was reprimanded in a previous incident that happened some time ago back in the 2009 era. Now, this is more about her. It says, accusing federal prosecutors of knowingly and repeatedly violating ethical guidelines in a high-profile narcotics trial, a Miami federal judge Thursday, this is years ago, reprimanded multiple assistant U.S. attorneys who took part in this case. And they fined the federal government more than $600,000. In this older case, the judge issued a 50-page order, takes federal government to task for acting deceptively and, quote, in bad faith in the case of a Miami Beach doctor named Ali Shagan. He was acquitted of 141 counts of illegally prescribing painkillers. Now, the fee of $600,000 is going to be repaid to him because that covers his legal fees and costs. Now, the judge in this case, here's the name, Karen Gilbert. The judge formally reprimanded prosecutors Karen Gilbert and another woman named Andrea Hoffman and said he would send a copy of the order to the Florida State Bar. The U.S. Attorney's Office, when they were prosecuting this guy, this is what these lawyers did, these prosecutors who were supposed to be fighting in the interest of justice and pursuing just outcomes are doing. The U.S. Attorney's Office began a secret, undisclosed side investigation of the defendant's legal team. They went and snooped on his lawyers. Karen Gilbert, who is back on this case. That is an unethical thing. That's not a mistake. This isn't like, oh, you know, you were a bad communicator and you got a bar complaint because you got overwhelmed or something, right? Lawyers know what I'm talking about. This is not a complaint because you accidentally had some bad bookkeeping and your trust account is in disrepair or something. You can fix it up. Okay, get it fixed up. Or it's a money problem or a fee dispute or something like this. No, this is a government prosecutor, and defense attorneys are jumping out of their skin. Undisclosed investigation of the defendant's lawyer's team, the defendant's legal team. So if you're a defense lawyer, you're getting investigated for defending your client, citing a suspicion of witness tampering on the part of the defense. They just made up a reason. Oh, we think they're tampering with the witness. Unfortunately for her, no evidence surfaced that the defense team was manipulating any witnesses. In fact, on the contrary, defense attorneys rejected bribes that were floated on tape from government informants. This U.S. attorney, I'm guessing, is using the FBI, who's investigating this Shagan fella, to send informants into the defense attorney's office that bribe them so that they can breach attorney-client privilege in order to get access to their internal conversations. Karen Gilbert, prosecutor prosecuting Trump. Sounds like a nice person, right? I'm sure she's ethical too. Says, I'm doing real bad with money. You know what I'm saying? Witness Carlos says on tape, according to the court documents. That's who's on this team. And there's more on this from actually the Miami Herald out of South Florida. They said the pair faced stiff penalties. A federal judge called their actions flagrant. Gilbert wanted to take punishment in their own hands. Gilbert stepped down, asked to be transferred to another division. She's back on the criminal division now. They arranged for 2 witnesses to secretly tape record phone calls with defense attorneys and his investigators. They were ratted out by one of the witnesses on the stand. This went all the way up to the moment of trial, and a witness broke down on the stand. That's how dishonest this prosecutor is. She was going to convict this dude, literally convict him at trial. But a witness, thank God, broke down and told the truth, prompted the investigation, and they had to just dump the case. Justice Department called the episode deeply regrettable. Right, deeply regrettable. She still works there! In a situation like this, some people might say that if she's trying to rig this case against this guy and he got convicted of 141 counts, maybe Karen Gilbert should be responsible and serve the penalty for all of those 141 counts for trying to rig the case and breach her honesty, breach her integrity, breach what she swore as a prosecutor to do. Maybe she should be prosecuted, but she's not. She still works there. She didn't even get fired. Okay, she got demoted, and now she's on this case. She's on this team. Great person for the Democrats to have on their team. Somebody with very limited ethics who's got a history of being corrupt as can be and wiretapping defense attorneys. It's amazing. So Matt Gaetz sent a letter over to Merrick Garland about this, obviously upset about it, as we are. Going from the Congress of the United States, U.S. House of Representatives, dated June 13th, this letter goes over to the Honorable Merrick Garland, U.S. Department of Justice. Matt Gaetz says, "Hey, Mayor, I write to you today with a simple ask." It's not going to be so simple, bro. You're dealing with the DOJ. He says, "Please produce to my office in writing by July 7th the following. Mayor, I want 1, all staff rosters, phone lists, similar records within the custody or the control of Jack Smith and the DOJ. I want all employees hired or detailed to work on this team. I also want all communications of the Office of the Special Counsel, whether electronic or otherwise, relating to overcoming or piercing any legal claim of privilege." Isn't this curious? Do we see a parallel issue populating this story? We do. What is one of the key pieces of evidence in Donald Trump's case? The lawyer's notes. Evan Corcoran, who we believe is lawyer 1, had some notes from Donald Trump when Trump was talking to him. And Trump said, "Wouldn't it be better if we just don't tell him the documents aren't here," or something like that? And the media is melting down over that. Oh gosh, this is in proof of intentionality. This means that he is knowingly trying to commit a crime here. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these people have never worked in the law at all. They don't know what they're talking about. But every single defendant who's ever been charged with a drug crime, okay, maybe not everyone, but large percentages of them, they say something like, well, what if I say the drugs aren't mine? And guess what? Prosecutors don't get to go and breach their attorney-client privilege because they ask that question. Sheesh. This is what you do with lawyers, is you ask them questions like that. Well, what if I say this? What if I don't go to court? I've had people, what if I just move out of country? Well, okay, you can do that. Well, you're from China? You don't care if there's a warrant out from your arrest here? So go back to China then. Go for it, And these people can ask questions because it dictates what they're going to do. And what happens is you don't have attorney-client privilege that gets breached willy-nilly. Remember what Karen Gilbert did, though? She tried to go breach that attorney-client privilege by alleging that that other lawyer was essentially committing a crime by being bribed by other witnesses. So she was trying to say that that lawyer and that lawyer's client were in an attorney-client relationship for the purposes of furthering illegal conduct. That's what breaks the seal, to use a Trump term. That's what breaches the privilege, and they can get in on it. Okay, so Karen Gilbert, the same prosecutor in this case who did that in this case, they breached Evan Corcoran's testimony. She did that same thing, or attempted to do it, and got busted doing it back in the 2009, whenever that case originated. Same parallel. In fact, that might have been a job criteria. So Gaetz wants to know whether there was executive privilege that was breached, attorney-client privilege, including the crime fraud exception, work product, any other privilege, including policy documents, and Gaetz wants all communications between the Special Counsel's office and any state bar association and the 65 Project, which is this organization of whack jobs who are out there trying to remove lawyers' licenses for doing their jobs and trying to say if you supported Trump in the courtroom as a lawyer by defending a defendant's rights or moving their claims forward, you should no longer have a law license. Just like what these sickos did when doctors were taking stands. They said, well, you should not be a medical doctor anymore. Gaetz wants to know all about it. He says, as you're undoubtedly aware, Merrick Garland, the work of Special Counsel Jack Smith is both highly irregular and of extraordinary public concern. Indeed, it is of such a concern that the DOJ, has fielded multiple requests of Congress from individual member offices and even full committees. My office alone, Mayor, fields numerous calls of constituents asking repeatedly about the special counsel, his authorities, and how his office is structured. It is beyond debate that this simple staff list that you've given to us, or not given to us, cannot be withheld from Congress or the public on the basis of attenuated and entirely fantastic privacy concerns. Gaetz says, this information is not only of public interest in the abstract, but it's highly critical to the ongoing oversight and the work of our Congress. It is already in public that one of Jack Smith's deputies, Karen Gilbert, resigned in 2009 from her position as the head of the narcotics section for the U.S. Attorney's Office because she engaged in conduct which the DOJ says it, quote, deeply regrets and which cost the American taxpayer $600,000 in settlements. The misconduct was both referred to the DOJ Office of Professional Responsibility and to the Florida Bar. Furthermore, the Federal Election Commission records indicate that Miss Gilbert, listen to this, has made thousands of dollars in donations to Biden for president. Oh, you're kidding me. Thousands of dollars to Biden for president and Obama for America and for the DNC Victory Fund. Oh, what a shocker. Obama Victory Fund 2012 too, and a lot of other associated partisan organizations. That's neat. So she's been a government prosecutor for all of these years. I mean, she was a U.S. attorney in 2009, so she was there for the Obama years. She literally donated to Biden for president, okay? And now she's prosecuting Trump. What a coincidence. Amazing. She's like, this is a great job. Yeah, I hate that guy. I love this. I'd love to be a part of your team, Jack. Thanks. While there are innumerable valid legislative purposes for this request, it should be obvious that doing due diligence in vetting an office that has apparently done no vetting of its own personnel or worse might be affirmatively be seeking staff with sanctioned lawyers and partisan hatchet men and women is an entirely appropriate purpose, and one small reason I'm requesting this information. Saying additionally, the 118th Congress has procedural tools in place to allow for targeted rescission of funds. We're going to take that money back, buddy, from various components or subcomponents of agencies that are not operating in the public interest. Gaetz finishes, he says, finally, it is a matter of public record now that at least 27 devices that were used in the Mueller probe were unlawfully wiped clean of records, often by senior prosecutors on that probe, including Andrew Weissman and Greg Andres, and more junior staff like Kyle Freeney and Rush Atkinson. They all deleted their evidence because they didn't want to be found, I'm sure, to be talking about what they were doing to try to get Trump. And Andrew Weissman, we know, is all over MSNBC now. He's a rabid anti-Trumper, and they wiped all their phones. I wonder, like what, with the cloth, Matt? Did they do it like with the cloth, or did they use hammers like Hillary Clinton did? So Gaetz says, I am deeply concerned that such flagrantly illegal and debarrable conduct, like losing your law license for being an unethical hack, seeking to cover up prosecutorial misconduct, will be repeated by Special Counsel Jack Smith and his team. So as a result, I want to make sure that these guys who already have a history of misconduct don't wipe their records. Please take care, Merrick, to comply with all record-keeping laws. Please provide my office with copies of the notices and training that were provided to the staff, giving them their notice of their obligations to not delete their files. We better not have any deleted phones here. Sincerely, your friend, Matt Gaetz, member of Congress. That got sent over to Jack Smith, or to Merrick Garland, to Jack Smith from Matt Gaetz, Committee on the Judiciary. Good letter from Matt Gaetz. I hope we get an answer to that. Now, elsewhere in the House, we have another thesis on how possibly to put a stop to this nonsense. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this on Twitter. She said the following, and I know we're mad at Marjorie still for the insane Fiscal Responsibility Act. And remember, when she told us that this was going to be good for America, she said that they were going to use the power of appropriations to do things. Remember, she said that. So now she's, I guess, making good on it. Let's see where this goes. She says, we have to use the power of appropriations to stop the weaponization of government. I'm introducing an appropriations rider to defund Special Counsel Jack Smith's office and the entire investigation. That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be one way to do it. It says, where are the investigations into true criminals like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton? Good question, Marjorie.
Today, I'd like to announce that I'm writing an appropriations rider to defund Jack Smith's special counsel, his office, and the investigation. This is a weaponized government attempt to take down the top political enemy and leading presidential candidate of the United States, Donald J. Trump. We cannot allow the government to be weaponized for political purposes. I'd also like to ask all of my colleagues to join me in this effort. We have to use the power of appropriations to stop the weaponization of government, especially in light that we know that there are others who are guilty of true crimes. Never forget that former Secretary of State and Senator Hillary Clinton had classified documents on Anthony Weiner's laptop, who was convicted of sexting a minor inappropriate pictures. This is not how classified documents should be handled. There should have been an investigation done into that. Don't forget Joe Biden's documents that are sitting in his garage next to his Corvette where the door opens and closes. America sees this for exactly what it is, and we will not allow it to stand. I yield back the remainder of my time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. I'd like to see Jack Smith, the special counsel, defunded. Maybe the appropriations rider is the right way to do it. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene going to get it done? What Republicans would break? Where would they fall on this issue? It would be a nice thing to see what their position is.